uli sa inyo at nandito na tayo sa part 2 with Sir Jennel Cheng. And ang pinag-uusapan natin dito ay tungkol sa metaphysics and tungkol sa FengShui, tungkol sa mga ibang bagay-bagay na tungkol sa pera at pangkabuhayan. So, Sir Jennel, welcome back. Part 2 na tayo. Mukhang kasi very
Salamat po.
Ating mga katanungan, no? So yung mga iwan nating topic kanina, babalikan natin or i-recap natin. And ngayon, marami pa rin akong itatanong sa'yo kasi sabi mo, nangako ka na anything, pwede kong itanong. Okay, so kanina po ang pinag-usapan namin ay yung tungkol sa mga FengShui, yung mga tungkol sa metaphysics, and kung bakit hindi conflict ang faith and also ang metaphysics. So yung mga tools na ginagamit, there are 5 tools in metaphysics, etc. So marami po at panoorin nyo yung part 1 nito. Now, Sir Jeng or Jennel, ang tanong ko, kumbaga, you've been in this practice and ikaw ay yung nagiging consultant. But do you also have your own consultant or you consult yourself? Para kung you are your own consultant in terms of wealth, in terms of success. Ikaw rin ba, meron ka bang mentor or ikaw mismo ang consultant?
Okay, I also seek for advice, no? So sabi nga nila, kumbaga sa ating Christian or Catholic faith, for example, ang isang priest, a priest can absolve let's say 1,000 people except himself, 'di ba? So ganun din yung principle dito sa metaphysics. So at times, 'di ba, especially kung let's say there would be days na kailangan mo rin ng insight kasi darating tayo din as human beings as we are. Dumarating din yung days na halimbawa nag-pull up ka ng chart tapos hindi mo maintindihan yung message ng universe sa'yo, 'di ba? So you also need to seek for guidance, no, sa colleagues or sometimes sa talagang consultant. Sometimes kasi meron kaming mga like say for example yung sifu namin or yung master namin may support group, no, na in-establish. So he will just you can simply just tap to that group, no, and let's say ask clarification ganun. But of course, yeah, I do also seek for consult, 'di ba? And syempre the same thing, nare-refresh din tayo pagka ganun, 'di ba? Hindi lang yung insight natin palagi ang kumbaga parang laging tayo lang yung give ng give. Remember, the principle must be equal, no? It's good to give, no? Give first, but it is not wrong to receive as well, 'di ba? So yung insight, para fresh yung insights natin, kailangan nagko-consult din, kailangan may mentor din tayo dahil part po yan ng buhay, whether in business or in any other field, normal po yan. Even a teacher has a teacher, di po ba?
Okay. And sir, halimbawa, kunwari ako, magko-consult ako sa'yo at ang tanong ko sir, magiging successful ba ako sa negosyo? Paano mo sasagutin yun? Or paano ko ba dapat itanong kung about success? Kung ako
Una po,
ay isang... sige po.
Una po, kailangan po nating alamin muna yung definition mo ng success. Kasi marami po sa atin or sabihin natin bawat tao, may iba-iba silang definition ng success. Pwedeng sabihin natin kagaya doon sa case ni Doktora, 1 patient a day is already a success to her. Pero pwedeng sa'yo, kung ikaw ay dentist din or doktora ka din, pwedeng 1 patient to you is not a success. Tama po. So, first of all, i-define muna natin ano ba yung definition mo ng success. And then from there, we will see kung how will you be successful. And you based on that question, ang magagamit nating tool dyan ay yung Chimendunja kasi mai-involve dyan yung forecasting. Kasi yung forecasting ang magsasabi sa atin na hindi for example, kung ganito yung strategy mo, ito yung outcome. So since binigyan kanya na ng warning na for example hindi ka magiging successful pagka nag-launch ka ng for example ng bakery products, no, or about bakery, siguro bili ka na lang ng bread, 'di ba, rather than establishing a bakery. So ganon, 'di ba? Ang gagamitin na doon is the Chimendunja kasi it's more of the strategy na showing you on kumbaga the good and the negative sides of your endeavor. So that's how I will answer it, no? So I will ask you, what's your definition of success? Kasi we may have a different view or different criteria pagdating sa success.
Sir, okay, for example, I'll be more definite. We have a college. It's GK College. It's a new college and less than 100 yung aming college students. For other students, meron naman marami kaming estudyante. But for the college student, if I want to grow this to have like, say, 500 or even 1,000 students, online students, anong i-apply ko or how do I go about it? If I am to consult with you.
Yeah. So, number one, i-check natin yung naaabot ng market mo. So, papasok muna dyan yung marketing principle. Are you advertising enough to reach this? Ito po ay totoong steps ko na ginagawa sa isang actual consultation. So, if I treat this, let's say, that question as, let's say, a consulting question, I will ask you the same thing. Yun bang advertisement mo is sufficient to reach let's say kung ang target mo let's say meron ka 100 students ngayon at ang target mo ay maging 500 to 1,000, may nare-reach ka bang about 5,000 to 10,000 people with your advertisements para mag-enroll sila sa'yo? Because if your answer is no, then baka gusto mo munang i-work out yung advertisement mo to reach this audience. Bakit? Statistically, according to studies, ayan, papasok tayo ngayon sa discipline, di ba? Sa studies like statistics, yung advertisement natin, ang ano lang diyan, kumbaga ang mga kumbaga sa layman term natin, ang pumapato lang sa advertisement, about 1 to 2% nung number of people na pinadala mo ng advertisement. So for example, yung mga Facebook advertisement na yan. So pagka in-ads natin yan, hindi ko mo nag-like yan. Halimbawa, nag-like doon, 55.6K likes. Walang ibig sabihin yung likes na yun. Ang importante, yung send message or click here to order now. Yun ang nagmamatter doon. Kasi yung likes, okay, nag-like siya. Minsan may nag-feed sa'yo, GK College, okay, like. Nag-offer ng ganitong course, okay, like. But then, hindi naman siya nag-enroll or doesn't even inquire, di ba? So, that's the question. Ilan yung number of headcounts na nare-reach nung ads mo, 'di ba? Then from there, you would know and you can now do the math, 'di ba? Na kung bakit 5,000 to 10,000 dapat kung yun ang target mo, dahil kung 2% lang ang target niya na quote unquote papatol dun sa advertisement mo, then you might be reaching too low kaya hindi siya nagkakaganon. Then once na ma-address natin yun, doon natin ngayon titignan ano yung problem. So let's say nasa content ba nung advertisement natin? Or simply kung halimbawa nag-advertise naman, let's say the scenario is, sir, tama naman yung advertisement ko according to marketing principle, tama naman siya, pero hindi ko nare-reach yung tamang market ko. Okay. So dun ngayon tayo papasok sa forecasting. Tignan natin anong gustong makita ng audience mo kapag ka pinagpe-present ka tungkol sa isang school. Anong gusto nilang makita? So, doon na papasok yung forecasting tool natin na, ang gusto pa lang nilang makita sa advertisement is more on, kung IT yung course na ino-offer mo, gusto nilang makita is more on animation, let's say, more on video editing, or let's say more on online selling, things like that. So, yun na ngayon, yung output na yun nung forecasting chart natin using Chim and Dunja, yun na ngayon yung gagamitin nating reference para i-construct yung ating marketing advertisement. So, magli-link na ngayon yung discipline ng dalawang yun na marketing plus Chim and Dunja forecasting. And then that will be, kasi makikita mo na sa forecasting mo na, ito yung gusto ng market ko. Ito yung tatangkilikin ng market ko. Kasi yun na yung sinabi sa'yo, yun na yung forecast mo. Okay, so i-adapt mo na ngayon or gawin mo na ngayon yung advertisement mo based sa sinabi sa'yo ng forecast. So it's like a demand forecast, di ba? Na, next month, magtataas tayo ng demand dahil pa-holiday season na tayo, mag-produce na tayo ng mga meat dahil papunta na tayo ng Christmas. Yun yung projection na nakikita natin ng demand natin, let's say, for meat. So, ganun din ang gagawin natin.
Oh, grabe, no? Parang very practical pa rin pala siya. Kasi, like, although ang tanong ko, kailangan pa ba ng metaphysics when in fact this can be a discipline na talagang pinapractice naman halimbawa ng mga digital marketers, ng mga marketing professionals, ng mga school marketers, etc. So, hindi ba parang redundant lang kasi ginagawa na rin naman nila ito, tapos ganun din naman pala ang gagawin sa metaphysics.
Okay, so diyan papasok yung tinatawag nating principle ng metaphysics na kung meron tayong tinatawag na Holy Trinity sa Christian faith, meron naman tayong tinatawag na Cosmic Trinity sa metaphysics wherein ang component ng Cosmic Trinity, heaven, earth, and man. Okay? So simple lang. So pag man, siya yung tayo, tao. Yung heaven, yan yung biyaya sa atin ng langit, 'di ba? Now, may tinatawag tayong earthlock. Ano tong earthlock na to? Itong earthlock, yun yung binibigay sa ating opportunity nung lugar kung nasan tayo. Kasi for example, Ma'am Rosel, no, let's say you were born, you are now 30 years old, for example. And let's say I'm also 30 years old, di ba? And let's say we were born in different places. Pero ang question, bakit ikaw CEO and bakit ako, let's say, laborer? Parehas lang naman tayong pinanganak. Sabihin natin, parehas tayo ng birthday. And I think you have classmates like that or friends like that. Same kayo ng age, same kayo ng birthday, ka-birthday mo siya. You were just born on different places. So, pumasok ngayon yung concept ng siya pinanganak sa province and then ikaw pinanganak let's say, sa city or maybe pinanganak ka sa abroad, di ba? But then, pumapasok doon yung tinatawag nating earthlock. Kasi dala mo yung earthlock kung nasaan ka eh. Bawat lugar may kanya-kanyang opportunity yan. So, if let's say you are doing it yung isang, let's say, school 1 is doing the same thing, school 2 is doing the same thing. But remember, even if they are doing those marketing things, what will make you give the edge is that yung earthlock na nung nandoon sa lugar mo na yon, you will be able to maximize the energy na meron, di ba? Whereas sila, tawag dito, okay, they just use this is a multiplying factor. Just put in mind na say for example, they are doing the same marketing principle, IT principle, di ba? Pero let's say, if that is a multiplier of 1, di ba, at walang metaphysics, metaphysics is your 20 to 30% multiplier, di ba? So sabihin na lang natin 10%, so 10x. So imagine, ikaw gumamit ng 1, may times 10 ka dahil sa metaphysics. So may 10 times kang edge. Versus sila na 1 lang, tas walang metaphysics, 1 lang. At kung pare-parehas lang kayong 1, 'di ba, na walang multiplying edge, napakalalong stiff ng competition and lalo na sa business ngayon. Especially when we had the pandemic, 'di ba? The pandemic told us the lesson na ang big business and the small business became equal at a certain point, 'di ba? Yung mga nawalan, nag-close down na business, na nag-collapse silang bigla because of the pandemic, tas biglang nag-show up yung mga small businesses. 'Di ba? Na kumbaga this now gives us an equal opportunity na tayong mga small businesses ay kaya pala nating tapatan yung malalaking businesses. 'Di ba? Andyan pwedeng meron yung mga pasuyo, 'di ba? Na dati may yung mga big couriers lang ang nakakagawa ng service na yon, and then this time natapatan mo na siya, 'di ba? Dati yung mga big food mga food industries lang ang nakakagawa ng food, and here comes nung nag-pandemic, nagkaroon na nung kahit na mga small mga homemades, 'di ba? Mga whatever, 'di ba, na nagawa diyan, then naibenta na rin sila online, 'di ba? So that's the beauty of that metaphysics.
Maitanong ko na nga lang din, sir. Sa mukha, kumbaga, yung may relation ba yung face reading o yung structure ng mukha mo in comparison dun sa, I mean, also yung yung zodiac sign mo o yung birthday mo doon sa success level o dito sa metaphysics? Ano yung relation? Paano sila, related ba sila in the first place?
Okay, that's another good question. Yung question na yan, actually, meron pa palang isang discipline or isang tool ng metaphysics na tinatawag na face reading or mensyang, no? Yung face reading kasi, although bihira kasi siyang gamitin, no? Kaya hindi siya kasama dun sa sa 5 common tools. Bihira kasi ang mensyang. Somehow, na-adapt niya na yung sa BATSI, no? Kasi ang BATSI is that, yan yung self-capacity nga. Actually, wala silang relation. Wala silang relationship. Kasi for example na lang, dali natin siya sa context ng Batsa chart. hindi mo sisisihin yung base chart mo na, kaya siguro ako tamad kasi yung base chart ko puro earth element kasi hindi siya gumagalaw eh, kaya siguro ako tamad. No. The universe knows na ganun yung attitude mo, kaya yung chart mo nag-match ng ganun. You get what I mean, di ba? Na kumbaga, yung universe yung nag-align ng chart dahil alam ng universe na ganun ka. Pero walang kinalaman yung chart kung ba't ka nag-act ng ganun. Kasi at the end of the day, you have the will to to break your own spell, 'di ba? Na for example, sinabi ng destiny chart mo, you are destined to become poor for the rest of your life. Pero upon learning that, napag-isip-isip mo sa sarili mo, teka, 30 years old pa lang ako. Kung mabubuhay ako ng hanggang 60 years old, ayoko namang nang lilimos for the next 30 years, 'di ba? So nagsikap ka, nagtraining ka muna sa GK, 'di ba? To equip you with knowledge, and then nakapag-put up ka ng small business. And yung small business mo lumaki ngayon, 'di ba? So nung lumaki ngayon yung business mo, this now became a part of your tawag dito, your tool, 'di ba? In as a multiplying effect, 'di ba? So ngayon, na-break mo ngayon yung sinasabi ng chart mo na, you are destined to become poor, 'di ba? Remember, dahil meron tayong action na ginagawa, 'di ba? So in fact, let me tell you a secret, no, na hindi common na maririnig mo sa isang metaphysics consultant like me, okay? And are you ready for the secret?
Sige, sir. Try.
Okay. This is the secret, okay? Hard work overrides luck. Again, hard work overrides luck. Anong ibig sabihin? Yung mas masipag magtrabaho, kumbaga parang kaya niyang i-override yung luck. So ibig sabihin, kumbaga sa layman's term, walang kwenta kahit na super lucky ka pero wala kang action. Pero kahit very unlucky ka pero masipag ka, meron kang pagpupursige sa buhay, may persistence ka na, kagaya niyan, negosyo, nagsimula ka ng maliit ang kapital, maliit ang kita, pero hindi ka tumigil. Eventually, dinagdagan mo pa ng metaphysics, yung 20 to 30% mo na yan, 20 to 30% mo na yan, through time, lalaki siya. Kaya nga ang metaphysics is not shortcut. Like I mentioned, it might even take at least half of your life to become yung sinasabing multimillionaire. Bakit? Ang expectation, nagsimula tayo ng maliit. Nagsimula ka ng 1. Imagine yung 1, kung mag 10% ka na lang, so that is 0.0 something, di ba? Then you add it to 1, di ba? Or sabi mong naging 1.5, di ba? Hanggang tsaka siya magiging 2, hanggang magiging 3, hanggang magiging 4. Pero imagine, di ba? Pag 4, kinuha mo na yung 10% or 20% ng 4, di ba? That is 4.8 or almost 5 na agad. Eh di pag in-add mo na siya, magiging ka ng 9. So eventually, hindi mo naman napapansin, nag-exponential growth ka na din. 'Di ba? Pero by the time, talagang motivated ka ng mag-trabaho ng gusto.
Speaking of numbers, parang naguluhan yung isip ko, no, sa numbers. But, sir, okay, actually, medyo takot ako sa mga ganitong tanong. Pero itatanong ko na rin. If I am to ask you, can you predict sa akin, sa business ko, sa global knowledge, yung success niya in the future? May ganun ba? Tama ba yung tanong ko?
Okay.
Success involves probably either sa akin or sa negosyo.
Okay. So, first of all, bago natin sagutin yung tanong na yan, distinguish muna natin yung difference ng word na forecast sa prediction. Okay? Pag sinabi natin kasing prediction, there's as if there is this divine being that intends you to parang that writes your parang destiny na ganun ka na eh. Pag sinabi mo kasing prediction, parang wala ka ng way na magbago. Parang ganun na siya eh. Parang pag sinabing you're destined to die, parang okay, then die, ganun, 'di ba? Wala na. Pero pag sinabi mo kasing forecasting, the difference of forecasting to prediction is that forecasting, it gives you the result of an outcome. For example, forecast natin yung GK for the year. Anong outcome? Tapos hindi mo nagustuhan yung outcome. Sabihin natin, mababa enrollees mo for the year. Yun yung lumabas sa forecast chart. Let's say gawin natin per year. Di ba? Sabi nga, give us this day our daily bread. So, let's do it for a year as a business forecast. Di ba? Forecast tayo. Hindi mo nagustuhan, mababa. Then, ano ngayon ang gagawin mo? Mababa ang enrollees mo for the year. Then, next question is, anong strategy ang gagawin ko para tumaas siya? Kasi nakita mo na sabi na ng forecast chart mo, mababa enrollees mo. Ano gagawin mo pag nakita mong mababa enrollees? Mukmuk na lang ba tayo sa isang kanto or ma-depress na lang tayo na I'm one of those konti ang enrollees or eventually nag-shutdown ng school. Ganun na lang ba tayo? No. Pag nakita mong ganun ang forecasting chart mo or ang result ng forecasting chart, the next thing that you need to ask, what must I do to kumbaga to reverse that or to counter that result? Kasi definitely there is, 'di ba? Parang it's like saying I'm sick right now. Okay, so you're sick right now. So the first thing you knew is may sakit ka or magkakasakit ka. Okay, para kung nalaman mong magkakasakit ka, what do I need to do para hindi ako magkasakit? Kailangan mo mag-take ng vitamins, kailangan mo mag-exercise, good diet, and basically if you do that, you are practically reversing the result of the forecast to you. So forecast gives you the overview of what is ahead. And once you see what is ahead, if you don't like the result, you do something to change the actual outcome. So that is how I want to parang break that fear in you. So don't be afraid of that. Kasi forecasting is just a forecasting to tell you an outcome. But if you don't like the outcome, the good news is there's always hope because it's in your hands. You are the one who co-creates your destiny or your future. You can co-create your future kasi kahit na destined kang maging mayaman, kung natulog ka lang for the rest of your life, nothing will happen. But even if you are destined to become poor, but if you work so hard, plus the metaphysics, plus of course, nandiyan yung divine guidance na sinasabi natin, definitely you will become successful.
So, last time na nagkita tayo, sir, you were always looking at an application in your cell phone and parang binabasa mo every, pag magde-decision ka, kapag meron kang itatanong or may itatanong kami, you were always looking at this application. Existing pa ba ngayon yon and are you still using that? And what is that?
Yes. Okay, that is what you call that is the Chimendunja chart. And yes, that is existing. I like that you asked that question kasi before, I was looking on the chart na tawag dito na pin-repair nung sifu ko. But right now, because of pandemic, I was able to make my own page. Okay, so by the way, because I'm also an IT by profession and by profession and by education, so I was able to automate this metaphysics. So imagine, 'di ba, kung tipong parang nanghuhula lang tayo na wala tayong pattern na para lang may dumating sa atin na kung anong voice, hindi natin yan ma-automate. But I'm glad to let you know na naka-automate tong tool na to. And I can share to you the links eventually and so that even our viewers can try it. Pero yun yung sinasabi kong forecast chart. Yung forecast chart na yan, yung magde-determine ng possible outcome nung tinanong mong question. And that gives you the answer towards that. And yes, it is existing, but this time in my own version. Proudly made.
Grabe, you've reached quite an achievement na rin dyan sa profession mo.
Just to let you know, if I may add, yung aging na sinasabi ko plus itong forecasting chart natin, naka-automate na sila. Okay, so these two tools in metaphysics, I have already automated them. So, nasa website na sila and you can just simply log into that page and you can easily access them. Okay? So, by the way, yung aging, just for curiosity ng iba, ano ba yung sinasabi ni Sir Jennel na aging? So, aging is like the counterpart of the Western astrology na tarot card, Pero just to let you see kung ano ang isang aging, this is how an aging card looks like, okay? So this is what you call a trigram kasi tatlo lang siya. Pagka hexagram na siya, it will form like a 6 lines, So ito 3 lines lang ito eh. So pag hexagram na siya, makikita mo dun sa card mo, 6 na lines na siya na naka-display dito sa card na to. So this is what you call an aging card. And I have automated this part. So yung part ng pag-shuffle, yung lahat, everything, basically what you need to do is to just tawag dito, sign up in that website, no? And then after you sign up to that website, you can ask question, no? Meron tayo dung journal or diary wherein you can put all your question and the universe is actually responding to you as if you are talking to the universe. So, yan. Okay.
Grabe. Wala talaga akong maintindihan sa mga card, pero I know that mastering mo yan, sir. So, pwede ba nating subukan? Ano ba ang pwede kong itanong na pwede mong masubukan doon sa iyong
Yeah,
website? Oo.
sure. I just need to focus on my screen, but you can actually yeah, you can ask me anything as promised.
Anything, alam mo, sir, okay, related na lang dun sa kaninang tanong ko. When do you forecast na siguro ma-achieve ko yung 1,000 students for GK College?
Okay.
Pwede bang ganun ang tanong?
Yeah.
Mas ganun ko paano yung format ng tanong eh. But
Mhm.
that is at the back of my mind na gusto kong maitanong sa'yo.
Mhm. Okay. So, let me share the. Okay. Let me give you the page, no? Sige, later on I can share the page. But for now, I'll open the tool on my side. So just bear with me while I look on my screen to share, no, the answer to your question. Okay.
So, pwede pala yung ganun tanong, ano? Kumbaga,
Oh,
medyo
yes.
nakuhula lang ako sa...
Kasi it's clear. The question is very clear. No? Sabi mo, when are you actually able to achieve that 1,000 students, no? Okay. So, let's see.
Kinakabahan na ako.
Okay. So definitely, okay. Definitely, upon looking on the forecast chart right now, we are not talking here of months, okay? Kasi definitely, if we are talking here of months, definitely October or November this year is not something feasible to you, okay? So hindi feasible yung 1,000 students by this October or November lang. Definitely kulang tayo ng ano diyan. Ibig sabihin hindi realistic yung time na yon.
Yes.
So
Oo.
to achieve, yes, and with your condition, even though I don't know it, which by the way I can tell, but I will not just disclose it. Okay,
Ano ba
so
yan? Nakakakaba yan? Nakakakaba ba
no,
yan?
so let's leave it that way. Okay, but realistically speaking, we can achieve that siguro sometime. So this is 20. Okay, so 2021, 22, 23. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Siguro around years pa siya. Okay? So, looking on the forecast chart, it might take you parang 2030, mga ganon, no? But again, if you would remember the words that I told you, this is just a forecast. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Well, if you follow this chart, that will become your destiny or that will become something na you will be adopting, di ba? Pero, if we will do something about it, 'di ba? Para ma-break yung tawag dito, yung so-called spell na 'yon, 'di ba? If that's what you call a spell or let's say a forecast, then what we do is that we need to do certain actions, 'di ba? Kasi right now, ang unang dilemma kasi is that na sinasabi ng forecast chart natin, kulang pa ang GK sa exposure. Okay? So that's one thing na sinasabi ng forecast chart natin. Wherein kapag sinabi mo kasing GK, hindi pa nila alam na ang GK ay isang institution for learning. So that is something that we need to work out, 'di ba? So, and we have to aggressively work on it. Okay, when we say aggressive, by all means, di ba? Like what we're doing right now, we are promoting a sort of GKTV that will eventually help our students, siguro, or will eventually help your market, di ba? To introduce the school, di ba? Tapos pwede natin itong i-plug in sa Facebook or sa other media outlets para makilala yung school. Kasi ang sinasabi dito ng forecast chart natin is that practically, kulang pa tayo sa advertisement. Kaya hindi pa natin nare-reach yun. And if we will just follow the pattern of advertisement that we are doing right now, that will take us 2030 to reach 1,000 students. And by that time, hindi mo na maa-appreciate yung 1,000 students dahil kasi dapat by that time 5,000 na, dapat by that time 3 and things like that, 'di ba? Dapat by 2030 at least competitive level na tayo na nasa mga 7,000 students na tayo, ganun, 'di ba? And not only 1,000. So
Oo.
meaning to say by this time, we have to aggressively advertise our when we say advertise, hindi lang to sa dyaryo or sa basta we need to be creative, no? And especially ang online nga tayo, we have to do it online, 'di ba?
Oo.
And I'm glad you did not ask the question kung feasible ba na ma-achieve mo siya o hindi. Because that's a different thing. So one thing that we need to consider pag nagtatanong tayo ng forecasting is that importante ang clarity ng question. Kasi kapag ang question natin ay hindi clear, hindi din clear ang sagot ng universe. So kagaya nun, if your question was feasible ba siya, 'di ba? Then the answer might not be the same. But I'm glad you asked kung kailan magiging possible because the thing is we are looking on possibilities and not on kumbaga the challenges that we may experience.
Oo. Kasi sa totoo lang, when you said 2030, parang natatagalan ako. Kasi
Correct.
isip ko, papayag ba ako na 2030 pa? Pero parang hindi ako papayag. So baka i-push ko kaagad yan para lang ma-achieve ko yung 1,000 students. But also, syempre, nasa heart ko rin na hindi necessarily na napakalaki ng population na i-achieve ko because the college is intended to have its niche market. Kaya tatlo lang yung programs talaga na balak namin i-offer. Therefore, parang kahit na I would be happy nga sa totoo lang, I would be happy with 500 students to start with and then bahala na siyang mag-grow exponentially. And parang how to achieve that, medyo now that we are nearing almost about 100, so multiply ko lang siya ng 5 and I would be able to reach that certain number. But thank you for for that forecast kasi medyo nakaka-challenge din, 'di ba? Para ganon para. But I'm happy that kaya pala nandiyan pala sa ano mo. Now, pagdating naman sa wealth, sabihin natin personally ako or financials. Anong nakikita mo or ano yung forecast na nakikita mo sa akin, sabihin natin in like 2-3 years from now?
Okay, allow me again to go back to my screen. Okay, so financial or sa wealth.
Nakakakaba.
Okay, current. Okay. So current forecast natin, actually, with the situation right now, financially speaking, the current status actually is telling us na hindi siya, well, it's not as luxurious or lucrative as it is. Kumbaga nasa middle lang, average lang siya, okay? But this average, based on the forecast chart, if situation won't improve, this average will become critical. Hindi siya mag-accelerate, magiging critical siya. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, the resources might deplete soon kung hindi magkakaroon ng changes. Diba? Pagdating sa wealth. Okay? So, therefore, we need to create the wealth. Diba? And by doing so, na sinasabi niya, in the next 2 to 3 years, diba, you need to make some adjustments, diba? In terms of, tawag dito, like for example, make some another pipelines of wealth innovation. Anong ibig sabihin doon? For example, you go into a sort of investment, you go to a sort of, yung mga ibang passive incomes, di ba? And that will surely bring you to overcome the challenges for the next 2 to 3 years. Diba?
So, nandun ba yung challenge sa next 2 to 3 years? Is it because of the pandemic or what?
No, the challenge is every day, happening every day. Because the challenges are especially If like the forecast chart is telling me now or showing to me now, the kumbaga yung sa cash flow natin, mas marami yung lumalabas kaysa sa pumapasok, 'di ba? So having that said, nagkataon lang na meron tayong reserve. Kaya somehow parang kumbaga nag-neutral tayo ngayon at this point, 'di ba? But if this situation hindi siya magkakaroon ng mas malaking resource or source of the income, then what will happen in the next 2 to 3 years multiplied by the X number of days in 2 to 3 years? Diba? That's around 1,000 days eh. Diba? 365. So, more than 1,000 days na yan. Diba? Kasi 365 in a year. So, kung 2 to 3 years, especially kung 3 years time yan, more than 1,000 days yan, following the pattern that you have right now, which you have, then the next 2 to 3 years will be very difficult for you. Diba?
Oh. So, nakakakaba at nakakatakot.
Mhm.
So, kaya
That's
parang kailangan i-counter ko na yon as early as
yes.
ngayon. Kasi
See,
yun pala yung ano. Okay.
now I'm glad na it gives you now a different perspective of metaphysics and forecasting na hindi naman pala nakakatakot ang forecasting at hindi siya magical. Bakit? Kapag binigyan ka niya kasi ng warning ahead na this, for example, if we continue this pattern of living or this pattern of financial situation at this point, di ba? Tinuloy natin siya, that means to say, my resources will be depleted in the next 2 to 3 years. May forecast ka ng ganon. So, ano ngayon ang gagawin mo? I-counter mo ngayon yung situation na yon by doing something significant, 'di ba, na maa-alter niya yung result na yun. Kasi otherwise, dahil nga forecasting siya, yun yung mangyayari, 'di ba?
Wow. And, okay, so sabi mo, sir, di ba parang I need to create some other pipelines, no?
Mhm.
Na pipelines for money to flow in and dumagdag sa resources. Which, I'm putting up a gallery, an art gallery in
Mhm.
Tagaytay. Is that something that you see as one of the pipelines?
Okay. So, with the current situation kasi, based on the forecast chart natin, with the current situation that we have, meron naman kaunting, parang, how do I say it? Parang, meron naman siyang konting
Contribution.
edge at this, contribution at this point, no? Pero, you have to consider, no, based on the forecast chart, it looks so lucrative. So anong ibig sabihin? Medyo mataas yung expenses mo dun sa lugar.
Okay.
Okay, where you have the gallery. So therefore, kahit na may contribution siya ngayon, kailangan madagdagan yung contribution para eventually ma-offset niya yung cash out. Kasi yung cash out dun sa area or sa place, yun ang mas madami kaysa dun sa pumapasok. And remember, if we have that place, di ba, that will mean, for example, if you rent it, let's say, factor one, kung ni-rent mo siya, most likely long term, sabihin natin, ang long term natin is, palagay na lang natin, 5 years, di ba? 5 years natin, kasi hindi ka naman mag-art gallery na next year, plano mo na din umalis, di ba? So when you say art gallery, you will be staying there around 5, 6 years, ganyan. So let's say typically 5 years, di ba? You stay in the place. So yung 5 years na yan, tawag dito, if ganito pa rin yung pattern ng pumapasok sa atin na ano doon, na way, then tawag dito, ah, hindi siya magkakaroon ng ganong significant output. So paano natin siya aayusin ngayon, 'di ba? So paano mo siya aayusin? Make it a gallery na at the same time ano siya, kumbaga parang enticing siya. In what way? So hindi lang yung gallery yung aayusin mo, but rather within the surroundings, make the scenic good and the gallery becomes a sort of a prenuptial venue. That's a pipeline, right?
Oo. Kasi actually, yung gallery is situated in Tagaytay and yung place naman, yung lot, nabayaran ko na yon. So, walang rental na nangyayari. I'm thinking, baka kaya ngayon, since ongoing yung construction, yun yung labas ng labas yung pera because hindi ko pa nakukuha yung ROI ko dyan because ginagawa pa nga lang siya. So talagang palabas yung pera. Is that how you see it in your chart?
Hindi naman niya sinabing construction, but the thing is palabas yung pera, di ba? I mean, I don't even know na kinonstruct mo siya, di ba? But the thing is, sinabi niya that the money is going out, di ba? So that is
Yun.
how forecasting works, di ba? So
Oo.
kumbaga, it may not be, kasi di ba yung question natin is, parang art gallery, di ba? But we never, kumbaga, yun yung na-mention ko earlier na the clearer the question is, the clearer the answer is, di ba? So kumbaga, kung ang question natin ay ito, syempre, tip of iceberg, the tip of iceberg lang din ang sagot sa atin ng universe, di ba? So, we cannot assume na yun nga yun. But the thing is, may nakita siyang palabas yung pera. So, kung palabas to, probably that's the thing, di ba?
Oo. The construction. Kasi wala pa talaga. Kung may
Could be.
pumapasok, oo, because nagpapa-reserve nga yung mga artists for the exhibit, but at the same time, sa ngayon, since it's construction, lumalabas yung pera. Now, another pipeline that I'm looking at is a beach resort in Zambales, in Nagsasakog, Zambales. How do you see that in your chart?
Okay, how would I see the beach resort? Okay, hang on
Actually, ano siya parang mga walking distance away from the beach. Hindi kami nasa beachfront, but it's right after the beachfront. It's 1.5 hectares.
Okay. Ang problema natin dito, the place that you were looking at, tawag dito, it's yung quality ng kanyang soil, no, it's kind of rocky. Okay, anong ibig sabihin ng, I'm sure, kung nasabi mo yan, the quality of the soil, it's kind of rocky. So, anong ibig sabihin? Hindi siya comfortable with, especially kung nagsasakub yan sa Zambales. Normally, campers yan, di ba? Bring your own tent and things to that effect, di ba? Wala pa naman diyang mga nakatayong cottage. So, if they gonna be doing that same way, di ba? That magtayo ka ng cottage dyan, gano'n. Yung area na nakikita mo kasi ngayon, na kinukonsider mo, has a lot of these rocks, di ba? Which may not be attractive dun sa mga visitors if they will be looking into that consideration. Have you inspected that?
Actually, yung nakuha kong place, may 5 mango trees, and then parang flat naman yung area, but it can expand up to the mountains kasi po pwede daw na i-lease yung mountains. And the scenic is really very beautiful. Tapos, may nakatira na doon before, pero yun yung mga dati pang may siya rin yung meron lang source of water na pinagkukuhanan ng iba. So, and yun, parang yes, more on the camping nandun sa side sa beachfront, pero yung ang plano ko doon is dito parang meron ka mga kubo-kubo din, and meron ka rin na parang rest and relaxation in that area, pero ang scenery mo doon would be the mountains. And if you want to go to the beach naman, walking distance, like 5 minutes away from the beach.
Okay. Now at this point, the forecast chart won't be applicable to you, okay? Kasi una, na-purchase mo na yung place eh. So kung na-purchase mo na ang place, what tool will will benefit you is already feng shui. Kasi yung feng shui, lalo na yan, may mountain ka and water. Diyan pumapasok yung minention ko earlier about the external feng shui, which talks about the the landforms, di ba? So, kagaya niyan, kung may mountain and water yan, better yan or excellent yan. But depende pa rin kung saan nakalagay yung mountain at saan nakalagay ang water. Kasi there are places in feng shui or sectors in feng shui na hindi pwede ang water, no? At hindi pwede rin ang mountain. So, kumbaga parang may preference yan. So, ang tawag doon ay direct and indirect spirits. Okay? Ang term sa kanila. So, may mga lugar na tawag dito na dapat mo siyang lagyan at merong lugar na wala dapat ng gano'n. So, But the way I see it, so that you can create opportunity, lalo na nandyan na yung place, then you do a feng shui on the place para siya yung mag-create ng opportunity. So the
Oo.
forecasting will no longer apply para dun sa situation na yun.
So, yung pala yun. So, pag
Mhm.
nasa iyo na yung lugar, or sa iyo na yun, wala ka na kasing choice, di ba? Kumbaga, ang gagawin mo na lang is to activate the
Hindi
place.
hindi naman sa dahil wala ka ng choice, no. I would like to parang to correct or ano bang tawag dun, parang i-correct na lang yung concept na yun. It's just that the way the question was asked, 'di ba? Ang makakapag-answer nun is not the forecast chart, 'di ba? Kasi you already have the place with you, 'di ba? But right now, tawag dito, the best thing that we could do is tawag dito is to do the feng shui of the place, 'di ba? So for example, kung sinabi mo may mountain siya, mountains and water are generally good elements ng feng shui. Pero the thing na lang na magma-matter doon is nasan sila nakalagay. Kasi kung mali ang positions nila, kagaya nung effect nung sinasabi ko sa kay doktora, baka instead na papasok ang wealth sa'yo, maging palabas, which
It's a
is
cove
frustrating.
siya. Bali, cove siya. So, yung water
Mm.
is naka-cove. Yung mountains ay nakasurround dun sa cove. So, it's like,
Understood, 'di ba? Understood. Pero magtatayo ka din at some point eh. Or sabi mo may nakatayong infrastructure, tama? Na parang yun yung okay, when you say overlooking ng mountain, at some point may tinatayuan ka for you to overlook the mountain. Hindi naman yan pwedeng overlooking ng mountain tas wala ka man lang starting or standing point eh. So
dun
yung
sa
standing
mountain
point
mismo.
mo, so
Pwede
yung
ba yan?
standing
Sa
point
mountain mismo.
So kung nandun ka sa mountain mismo still, 'di ba? Kung tatayuan mo siya ng something doon, 'di ba? Ng structure doon, meron pa ring direction 'yun eh, 'di ba? Kahit doon ka mismo sa mountain ilagay, 'di ba? But are you telling parang ganito 'yan eh. Are you telling me na mas malakas ang signal mo pag doon ka nakatira sa loob ng cell site ng isang network? It doesn't naman, 'di ba? It doesn't say that way. So, although mountains are good source of chi or the energy, pero staying on top of the mountain doesn't really say na mas lucky or mas auspicious yung nasa ibabaw ka ng mountain, 'di ba? Walang gano'n, 'di ba? So, hindi gano'n ang principle no'n, 'di ba? You tap to the right energy of the mountain and the water and that's it, 'di ba? And by the way, in feng shui, water governs wealth and mountain governs people. So
Wow!
kung ang gusto mong mangyari ay tao, dapat nasa tamang posisyon ang mountain mo para it attracts and support you with people endeavor. At
My
yung
God.
wealth naman ay water, 'di ba?
May ganun pa
In
pala, no?
Asian,
Grabe.
yes. In Asian text kasi, Asian principle, ang sabi diyan kasi ang feng shui comes from the word feng and shui. Ang feng means parang it's wind, 'di ba? And shui is water. So wind and water. So ang Asian text o ang Asian belief or literature about feng shui is that yung mga mountains natin, it is the one that emits the energy, no? Sa kanila galing yung energy, source of energy. So pagka yan, nag-emit ng energy, yung feng or yung air, yan ang nagdadala ng energy. And whenever it encounters the water retains the energy. Kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng water activation. So that's the principle of the feng shui. 'Di ba? So kaya meron siyang water. So feng shui, kaya hindi naaalis yung water sa feng shui. Kaya 'di ba nagkaroon ng mga aquarium, yung kanina sabi ko yung water activation because it's really part of itself.
No? Alam mo, master, no, it's making sense. Kasi like, kanina sabi mo, yung business, yung training business, kapag hindi ko siya nagawa ng paraan within the next 2-3 years, it will keep on depleting and eventually will reach a parang critical point. So I need to get yung mga other pipelines to get the money in, 'di ba? Para at least ano yun, ma-sustain ang business. Which totoo yan, kasi parang nag-iisip talaga ako. I know that training will become very cheap in the future and ano mo, very cheap and almost accessible to anybody for free. So, yun talaga yung naka-mindset ko. And eventually, kailangan siya na magkaroon ako ng other sources of income in order for me to still sustain the business or even grow it further, no? Kasi that's really the goal. Eh. Hindi mo naman pababayaan talagang mag-dive down only because of the pandemic or the situation and the technology, etc. So tama yan yung ano mo, yung na, na forecast mo, sir, and ayun, marami pa tayong pwedeng pag-usapan, but I think it's really getting late and masyado na akong maraming tips and techniques na libre kong nakuha. So, baka, baka gusto mong i-invite ang ating mga viewers na i-try din yung iyong services and ano-ano ba yung mga pwedeng services na ma-avail nila from you.
Yes, okay. For our audiences, basically, what I would like to encourage you, no, first of all, in terms of services, unahin natin yung yung destiny or personal capacity assessment kasi it is only through understanding of ourselves na magkakaroon tayo ng chance na tawag dito na ma-expound natin yung wealth, no? Like Ma'am Rosel, 'di ba, parang uh, she herself already knows her capacity na talagang pang businesswoman ako, 'di ba? Imagine kung biglang naisip ni Ma'am Rosel na mag-shift na lang as an employee, 'di ba? So kung hindi pa natin nakikita yung sense of purpose na yun or sense of capacity, 'di ba, so to speak, then mahihirapan tayo na mag-expound further, especially in being a businessman, okay, or a business person. So simulan natin ng ganun. And by the way, being a business person and a business or a businessman in metaphysics concept is something that is actually tawag dito, kumbaga calling din yan. Not everyone is called to be tawag dito, a business owner kasi there are worse business owners. But the question is, do I stop being a business owner if I don't have that kind of let's say configuration or profile in my destiny chart? Okay? So go and get a consult and I'll get that answered for you, 'di ba? But a quick hint, of course, possible siya, 'di ba? But how? Then I'll tell you on a consult, no? So that's one. And another thing is, go for don't hesitate to go for a forecasting session like what we did with Ma'am Rosel. Kasi, ang forecasting, it saves you a lot of time and money, no? It may just look so expensive dahil babayad ka ng how much for a forecasting consultation. But come on, if you are putting up a business, magkano ang capital mo sa business? Let's say you are intending to franchise for a gasoline station, tapos gusto mong makita yung tawag dito yung profitability ng gasoline station, 'di ba? How much is a franchise for a gasoline station? Siguro sabi mo mababa ang 3 million depende sa brand ng petroleum, 'di ba? Let's say like kung Petron, Shell or ayan yung brands na yan, 'di ba? I'm sure it will cost more, 'di ba? And don't hesitate to go for a forecasting session so that you will see the benefit in the future, 'di ba? And again, hopefully this session helps you get enlightened kung ano ba yung true element or true essence ng metaphysics kasi it's only through learning metaphysics yan the right way, okay? Yan lang yung magliligtas sa atin sa unnecessary expenses by not buying unnecessary things, okay? So just as you can know, probably you can notice, no, as I give an example, mall giants, no, like what we know, may nakita ba tayo diyang nakahang na kung ano-anong objects, 'di ba? But the thing is, bakit sila ganun ka-prosperous, 'di ba? One of the biggest retailer in the country, 'di ba? The mall, 'di ba? So, we all know that, 'di ba? Even though not for the purpose of plugging the service, 'di ba? Or the mall. Alam nating lahat 'yan, 'di ba? Have you noticed, 'di ba, pagpasok mo sa mall, may nakikita ka bang nakahang na kung ano-anong decoration sa kanila? Wala, 'di ba? But something that probably may have noticed, magtataka ka. For example, ini-screen ka ng security guard. Bakit kaya for this month naka-slant siya? Bakit kaya may times na naka-direction siya sa ibang direction? Sometimes straight lang siya. Have you noticed that? then that's the right feng shui that I'm talking about, diba? So if we are on the right feng shui, we will avoid unnecessary expenses and even the misbelief, diba? Kasi yung iba sasabihin, ay hindi naman nag-work yung feng shui. Okay? So if the feng shui is right, if the metaphysics is applied right, then definitely you will see results. I guarantee you that. Okay? So don't hesitate to get a consult when needed, 'di ba? Especially these times, no? These are trying times, and don't think naman that consultants are just there to parang to parang just there for the essence of the consultant or the consultancy itself. We or myself as a consultant is here as your guide, 'di ba? So delikadong i-self kumbaga sa medicine self-medicate, no? Ito naman parang self feng shui yung feng shui. Why? As I have explained earlier in our earlier session, this is scientific, 'di ba? Parang imagine mo maglaro ka ng apoy without understanding the effect of fire, 'di ba? That will cause trouble, 'di ba? So yung feng shui, pag nilaro mo siya ng parang, meron akong basic understanding na nabasa without a practitioner's proper guidance, baka you will get a different result like the case of Doktora, di ba? So, yun lang. So those practical things, baka we ended up spending more by saving in the wrong way. Okay? And don't worry because I don't prescribe my clients kumbaga mga very expensive solutions. So like if you have heard earlier, ang ginagamit natin for water activation is a pail, di ba? Of course, you have the water plus the pump. How much is a pump? Siguro roughly around the most expensive one that I have seen, roughly 300 peso, di ba? For a water activation. And anong intent ng water activation mo? Perhaps to close a deal like, let's say, 10,000 peso deal. Fair enough, di ba? So 300 peso for a 10,000 exchange, not bad, right? So things like that. So I encourage you to send me an SMS. So if you have questions, no, and also the website that I have there, ejing.jennelcheng.com. It's actually the first website that I have ever made. So regarding the Ejing, no, which is the mother of or the parent of all this metaphysics, no, galing siya dyan lahat sa aging na yan. So you can also sign up on that page, di ba? If you have questions, no? So sometimes nahiya na tayo mag-consult dahil lalo na kung masyadong personal yung problem natin or parang nakakahiya. Don't worry, no? Kasi if you try to parang share that to the universe with all your honesty with your heart, you will see that the system or the software itself will answer you. Kung gaano ka ka-honest, makikita mo yung honesty ng sagot. Okay? So that's all I could advise. And again, if one last word for you, if metaphysics will lead you away from your faith, then probably you have encountered the wrong metaphysics. Because again, metaphysics is a gift from God, and therefore, if it is a gift from God, it is in no way that should separate you from your faith. Okay? In fact, it must bring you closer to God by understanding what is metaphysics. Okay? So with that, I thank you for bearing with us, ni Ma'am Rosel, for this quite a long discussion, but I hope you learned something. Shoot me an SMS. Visit the page if you have any questions. Thank you.
Sir Jennel, maraming salamat, nakakatuwa, and ang dami ko rin talagang natutunan, ang dami kong parang realization, and gusto ko yung last words mo rin na, metaphysics is a gift from God. And thank you very much. Alam mo, I'm sure isa ako sa mga magiging kliyente mo. So, stay tuned ka dyan, Sir Janela, and after ko i-close, I'll get back to you and let's talk further. So, everyone,
Sure.
Maraming salamat po sa panonood ninyo ng Usapang Pera at Negosyo. Sana ay nakapagbigay kami sa inyo ng additional information, dagdag na kaalaman, at maraming salamat. See you again next time.